The FDA has been under fire recently. Patients, oncologists, and biotech investors have been pressing Commissioner Marty Makary over a string of drug rejections, none more contentious than Replimune. That's has a cancer therapy for melanoma patients that backers say puts a third of patients into multi-year remissions. And the original review team at the FDA did seem to recommend approval. Now, Makary disputes that, pointing to the agency's published response letter. He says that 3 independent review teams have reached the same conclusions. I did sit down with the commissioner here at Milken and asked him directly about some of the criticism he and the FDA have been receiving. You know, to put it kind of bluntly, you've been getting some not great press lately. And, I'm curious, just today, paranoia, turmoil, and backlash inside the FDA under Marty Makary, President Trump's Marty Makary problem. These are very recent stories, Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal. A lot of it does stem from frustration with patient populations and physicians, which what they say is inexplicable decisions by the FDA to not approve drugs. Replimune, for example, being a key one. How do you respond to this overall criticism that, continues to this very moment?
Yeah, I think that article in the Wall Street Journal is the 9th article they've posted in that opinion section begging for Replimune's approval. I don't work for Replimune. I work for the American people, and I stand by the scientists at the FDA. 3 independent teams arrived at the same conclusions. On my watch, we have not done corrupt sweetheart deals. What we have done is followed the science. So every accept or reject decision at the FDA on my watch has been the accept or reject recommendation of the primary review teams at the agency. And, I've spent my whole career taking care of cancer patients. To suggest that we want cancer patients to die is a little offensive. 22 plus years taking care of patients with terminal illness at the FDA. We've made our decision letters public so the public can see if there are manufacturing violations, if fungus was growing at a factory, if the trial failed, if they followed or did not follow the FDA's recommendation on trial design. And so that's an important thing. We are embracing radical transparency. It does reduce corporate spin. Those letters are public information. And for the life of the FDA, people have been upset with drugs that are approved that they think shouldn't have been, and vice versa, back and forth. But I stand by the scientists.
I know. All right. Well, if you do that, I just want to go through it because to the extent that I've been exposed to one story, it has been this one. I've talked to the CEO as well and any number of other people. They would say they were granted breakthrough designation on the basis of putting, a third of patients into multi-year remissions. The original review team recommended approval. And you've got a lot of oncologists out there who focus on melanoma patients who seem to be begging for it. So again, what is it? Can you explain what is it you saw that is different from what they see?
Look, I'm not going to talk about an individual product, but if you read what we call our complete response letter, you will see the details of the FDA's logic, and you will see some of those things shown not to be correct.
Can you give me something here to hang on to just understand what some of the details would be?
We published all of it.
Right.
So, for example, if you want to see whether or not a drug adds a benefit to cancer patients, you run a control group where patients don't get the drug. The FDA clearly recommended that control group. The company clearly did not do that control group. And so by law, we can only approve drugs with, quote, substantial evidence.
You went back and forth with them about that. Didn't they say that would be unfair to those patients given the efficacy of the drug itself?
The FDA has had numerous meetings with almost every company that brings products before it. The recommendations of the FDA were clear, misrepresented in the media.
How have they been misrepresented?
Well, saying that they changed the goalposts. They don't change the goalposts. We have thorough minutes on all meetings. And so we're going to continue to do massive reforms that promote more cures and meaningful treatments. You saw the pancreas cancer drug, expanded access approved in 2 days. That's unheard of. We want to see more cures and meaningful treatments for the American public. We have thousands of products in front of the FDA. And so there is corporate spin out there. Maybe people don't recognize it, but when you have 9 articles, they've come after
Wall Street Journal. There's no doubt. By the way,
this one drug, 9 articles on one drug. What does that tell you? It tells you that you're not getting the full story. The full story is in our complete response letter that we published. We're not out to smear any company. We're not out to dispel any corporate
Well, this
spin.
company is basically going to go out of business as a result of this. You know that.
We are a referee in the scientific process. And so a very simple, clear message to the world. If your drug works, it's going to get approved. We approved a near record number of drugs last year, 67, including a record number of drugs in the CBER division in December. And so
your critics would say that's not really the case. I mean, they would point to disc medicines in terms of a drug that it reduces the toxic protein by 40% and a steady improvement in the symptoms of the disease that didn't get approved. They would talk about Unicure for the brutal neurodegenerative Huntington's disease, again, where you said no.
That was before my time. The FDA said no on these medications. The companies come back, and they may say, "Hey, well, it's different now." I stand by the scientists at the FDA. I mean, you have a decision when you come in as commissioner. Do you throw science out the window and do whatever the media tells you to do and whatever the lobbyists and corporate interests tell you to do, or do you do what's right? We have 1,500 biotech companies in the United States. The vast majority are doing the process the right way. And for a couple companies where the trials just don't go their way, that's the scientific process.
All right, you say you publicly support quick approvals for obviously life-saving drugs. And I think based on plausible mechanism and approvals on a single trial, conceivably. But your critics, again, would say that you're rejecting drugs routinely that the marketplace and patients expect will be approved for awful diseases and that are eligible for accelerated approvals. I mean, there was on Replimune specifically, right? The original review team did recommend approval, didn't it?
That's not correct. David, that's not correct.
Okay. Correct the record, because that seems to be the case that I keep hearing.
You can talk to the CEO of any company, and they're going to tell you a totally different version. Okay, if there's a husband and wife that have a dispute, you can hear one version, or I know this is a theoretical.
So tell me your version. I want to hear it, because I keep hearing this version that in fact it was approved.
It's published.
Or I should say recommended for
the complete response letter. It's public information. As commissioner, I can either overrule our scientists or I can stand by our scientists. In that case, independent teams arrived at the same recommendation. To sort of spin it and say, oh, there's somebody we found in there who recommended approval. The process works. And so I'm going to stand by the process and the scientists. When the commissioner has overruled scientists at the FDA, every single time in history, it's been a disaster. Aduhelm for Alzheimer's, the COVID vaccine booster for young, healthy kids. In the Biden administration, they pushed out 2 of the scientists because they didn't agree, and they overruled them. I stand by our scientists. Now, the plausible mechanism pathway that we published in the New England Journal of Medicine is a breakthrough. It's for ultra-rare diseases.
Right.
We've had more rare disease approvals than ever. Mm-hmm. We are going from requiring 2 clinical pivotal trials to 1. Industry loves that. You can achieve the same statistical power. We're massively reducing animal testing requirements. We have a giant set of reforms on reducing and deferring requirements for the IND, which will unleash more phase 1 trials in the U.S. When I came to office, they were doing 4 times more phase 1 trials in China than the United States. We're going to lose our biotech leadership
there's
position.
Many people who say that we are, in fact, losing that we've seen a lot of scientists actually move to China, which seems, and that they are moving ahead of us.
Yes, China did surpass us in the first year of the Biden administration. They surpassed us for the first time. The day I came into office, they were doing 4 times the phase 1s in the United States. We have got to change course. So we're going to be announcing a massive set of reforms on the IND process, on IRBs, on hospital contracting, on what you don't need to include in that, on animal testing, on our first ever real-time clinical trial. So we announced on Tuesday the first ever real-time clinical trial where regulators look at endpoints in the cloud as the clinical trial is happening.
Right.
45% of the time from the beginning of a phase 1 to the FDA application at the end is dead time. 45% of the process is dead time. There's no ongoing clinical trial. It's just paperwork. We now have the real-time clinical trial in progress where FDA scientists are looking at endpoints in the cloud as the trial is happening. It's an important step towards our broader role of running more continuous trials and less dead time in the process.
I'm only focused on Replimune in part because it does seem to be a reflection of what your critics would say is this overall pattern, which you are obviously saying is not the case.
Yeah, read the response letter.
But just to finish off on this, if I can, Doctor, there was this whole idea of whether it was recommended for approval or not. I think the chief of the oncology branch of CBER, who oversaw the initial review team, he said they recommended approval. Isn't that the case?
You're talking about breakthrough designation, and that's based on information the company provides. Breakthrough designation does not mean it will be approved. About half, a little more than half, are approved, but you obviously have to wait for the clinical trials to work. And if the clinical trials show that it works, it's going to get approved. It's that simple.
Finally, again, I just, on this press that you say is potentially being drummed up by those who are in the corporate world, the Bloomberg story here says you've regularly clashed with other officials in the administration. You've tightened your inner circle in what people familiar with your management describe as a paranoid effort to control the flow of information. You even avoid, they say, putting things in writing. Is that true?
No, it's not true. And I'll tell you, those Bloomberg reporters spent months digging and digging and digging for something that they could report negatively on the FDA. They pivoted about 8 times on their story. They were going to go down a certain route. They found nothing. They went down another route. So they're just publishing some old gossip stuff. There are no sources cited in that piece. We are delivering healthier food for children and more cures and meaningful treatments. 45 major reforms in my first 14 months in office. Show me one reform announced in the Biden administration. Tell me one reform in the Biden administration. We're moving fast. We're not wasting time. We're going to regain our biotech leadership at the FDA, and we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. We're just getting started.
Well, final question, because you used the word corrupt when you described sort of corporations. I'm just curious as to what you're talking about when
I'm talking about a small set of companies have a trial that doesn't go their way. They call you, they call CNBC, they call Wall Street Journal. They're running ads on your network nonstop, and they say, hey, this is wrong. The drug actually works when the trial shows it didn't work. And they dial up tremendous pressure in the media to drum up people, spin them up on results that don't match the data that we see. And what you see as a result are 9 articles by a couple editors in the opinion desk at the Wall Street Journal pushing for one drug. What do you call that?
I know. Well, they would call it being compassionate to the 8,000 people with melanoma whose frontline treatment failed.
I'm a cancer surgeon. I mean, if there's anything that'll help cancer patients, 100% we're going to get it to them. Look at what we just did on the pancreas cancer drug. 2 days we approved the expanded access. We gave national priority vouchers. We had the fastest FDA approval in U.S. history during the HIV epidemic, 42 days. Normally it's a year process. We're now in our administration, we are now down to that 40-plus day time frame for cancer drugs and deafness treatments and other powerful drugs. We just approved 2 drugs that can literally bring people out of hospice. We got those decisions out in 44 days and 55 days instead of a year. So we're going hard. We have massive reforms, and our priority voucher program shows that we can get decisions out quickly. And we're going to do that if a drug can help Americans.